Okay, so we are back to talk about the AIM-54A-Mk60 today. The Mk60 is the faster of the two models. I'm going to go with a guess based on what I've seen and say it doesn't maneuver as well. But some of that might be because it's still accelerating when it needs to maneuver in certain scenarios. So maybe because of that, it's not maneuvering very well because it's constantly receiving more thrust than the other missile. But let's just jump right in and we'll try to blow through these. I have quite a few to show, so some of them might be quick, and some of the shorter range ones I'll just play in real time and you guys can take a look. But here we are, 60 nautical miles. We're at Angels 40, and we're both traveling Mach 1.4 at each other. I did change the parameters for this after the prior tests to make sure we were traveling the same speed at each other. A little bit different, but nonetheless doesn't matter at some of these ranges. So 60 miles, the missile was shot and went up to about Angels 61 and reached almost Mach 5. Oh, sorry about that. It did reach Mach 5. And then it came on down, and by the time we got the warning, about 10 nautical miles away, 6. So I went and broke at about 7. And it basically was a non-factor. It does not have the energy to follow through. No big deal. Move to the next one. Okay, for this one we started at 30 miles. Again, Angels 40, Mach 1.4 each. And the missile was launched at roughly 22 nautical miles. And it apexed up at Angels 47, round up to 48. And it hit about the same time, Mach 4.5. And this one, again, not a problem. This one, I think, barely missed me. No, that was not a problem. I actually went for chaff. You can see here. Didn't care about anything except for that chaff. That specific one right there. All right, next one. Okay, so this one we started at 20 nautical miles. Angels 40 again. And this one shot at about 14 miles and didn't go very high before it decided to come back down. Probably because it went pit bull. Over to here. Yeah, 7.5 miles, what we keep seeing. And I couldn't get away from this one. I tried. But the energy on this one, much higher than prior. It's already at 3.4. It hit Mach 3.7, I think. Yeah, here's 3.7. Came through and just tagged me. Not much I could do about it. I couldn't even, I don't know if it was because I was going too fast, but I could barely get over to the 90 in time. It was already on me. Maybe I went down too far. I don't know. We did quite a few of these. This missile at 20 nautical miles is the problem. I can notch it a little bit better at a closer range than I can at 20. And I don't know if that's because of the acceleration and its speed. And by the time it gets to me here, it's kind of burned through its motor. So it's not really accelerating anymore. And so it can pull more G. You can see here it's at 13.7 G. We'll compare that later. And when it hits me, it held that 13.7 G the entire way through. So let's check out another one. Okay, here we are at 12 miles was the launch. Again, Angels 40. And it didn't go very high before it went pit bull. And this one was another connect. And on this one, you can see I don't have a lot of time, especially up at this altitude. Turning's a little bit harder, not as much air pressure. But I have no time. I didn't even roll out to really get a good read on the RWR, what direction the missile was coming to. So I turned to roughly probably 090 or 100. And then I would typically roll out and see on the RWR how close I am to the notch, or the 90 degrees, and then if I couldn't really figure out which way I need to go, I turn my head and see if I could see the missile, and then kind of judge by that. But you can tell here, I just didn't have time. And I think that says a lot to how fast this damn thing gets going, based off how much thrust it has. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, so here we have a little bit longer shot here, 14 nautical miles. And this one, I turned pretty early. I wanted to see how well I could do if I turned when I saw the missile come off the rail because of the smoke. And it helped, but just barely, and probably should have had the proximity fuse go off on me on this one, because it passed pretty damn close. Maybe not. It looked a lot closer when it looked a lot closer when in the game. I guess it was pretty far off, so I don't know. I don't know what kind of damage that would have done if a proximity fuse worked at 300 feet. But this one turned out all right. As long as you turn before you get the warning on this missile, you might do okay. Don't know what point it decided it was done. It's pulling G, pulling G, pulling G, kind of lets go. Almost pulls G again. You see that? We had a lull down here at 2G, and it was a high over here at 17. And then 2, and then back up to 7.8. So it definitely was tracking. And then back up to 13. Maybe it was tracking and it just, for some reason, I don't know what it was doing. Very strange. Still 17G, even after. And then it came back around. Who knows? Just DCS things, I guess. We'll chalk that one up to DCS things. Let's take a look at another one. Okay, so this one was really close. 7.6 nautical miles. Again, we're still at Angels 40. And that missile came off at 4 miles. And that one was a non-factor. Looked like it went for chaff. Yeah, it definitely went for chaff, or got chaffed, and then didn't see me. No big deal. And funny thing is since this isn't accelerating, so like an interesting thing to look at here is before I was going defensive at 7.5 nautical miles. We're already under that range, so you would think that, well, you're going to get smashed on this one. But if you think about the amount of acceleration that it has when it hits 7.5 nautical miles, it's already at Mach 3. And on this one, when it comes off the rail, we're at 4.2. And it's still at Mach 2 here at 1.7, and it doesn't really ever reach Mach 3. So because of that, I have more time, because it's not going as fast, in less distance. And so it's almost like with this missile, there's a very specific range that it really works well at. And I feel like that range is above 10 and below 20. Depending on the situational awareness of your opponent, probably up to 25. This missile is deadly at those ranges because it's going so fast by the time it gets to you. So let's go ahead and take a look at another one. So here's another really close shot, 5 miles. Missile comes off the rail, 4.6. And again, here you can see it went for the chaff. I had time to maneuver. I had time to get out of the way. Probably more luck on the chaff than the notch here, for sure. You can tell that's not anywhere near the notch. But again, I have time to maneuver if I maneuver right when he fires at these ranges, because it never really reaches the same speeds as it does when it has to go a little bit further. This one's Mach 2.3 when it reached its apex there. All right, next one. Here's another one, 7.6 miles away. I'll go ahead and play this one in real time. Missile comes off the rail. Immediately starts tracking. I immediately go defensive. Looks like it's going to hit, and then it just can't keep up. Can't keep up where it got notched. Kind of unsure which happened here. Looks like I could have been just outside its field of view. Only pulling 8G. Looks like it's in pure pursuit. Probably can't pull lead, so that just can't keep up. This is probably just a ranging thing. At this speed, it probably doesn't pull enough G, so it can't actually lead me. See how it's kind of leading me here? Use the little laser pointer here. And then as we go, it just stops the lead. It can't do any more for some reason. Misses. Next. Okay, so these were at 20 nautical mile starts. These were on the deck. We both started below Mach 1. I didn't want to go any further than 20 nautical mile starts because it just seemed kind of pointless to go out past 25. And I figured this was the better area to be in. Anyway, let's take a look. So missile comes off the rail at 15 nautical miles and goes up. Doesn't go too high. Angel's 5. I'm still down here at 500 feet. And missile ended up getting chaffed on this one. Not much to it. Next one. All right, so 20 nautical mile start. Again, on the deck. And again, went up to about Angel's 5. And pretty piss poor job on my part trying to notch this. And it went and connected. A lot of the problem, I think, at this is a range thing. I do have time at this range to turn, but you can see here I roll out and I'm trying to figure out where it is, and then I turned the wrong way. I meant to turn right because I need to start turning to come back this way. And I turn left a little bit, realize I'm not turning the right way, turn right, and I just don't have enough time to get myself in that perfect notch. The other interesting thing is that Jester is no longer pumping chaff. I wonder if there's another defense option we can do where he's a little bit more aggressive with chaff, or if I need to just do it manually myself. Something to consider, I guess, when this goes live. Probably need some more testing in that area. Okay, let's check out the next one. Here we are, 10 nautical mile start. Missile comes off the rail at basically pitbull range. I immediately go defensive. And I still got smashed. I think a lot of this has to do with range. So for some reason, so for all the testing we did, I seem to have a lot of trouble down this low defending against this thing. And I don't know if it was because a lot of the time I was trying to pay attention not to hit the water. And I just don't really know what it was. Maybe I was going too fast. I couldn't find the notch often enough. I seem to do better at close ranges at higher altitude. Maybe some of that has to do with trying to get below the missile versus this one. It just sees you straight as day. Not really sure. You guys can draw your own conclusions. Let's check out another one. Okay, so this is a 40 mile start, and this is going to be a split S defense. So missile took off. Unfortunately, my Tacview didn't show that it had a loft profile, which it did. But unfortunately, it didn't here. But it doesn't really matter too much for this one because I went and did my split S and... Oh, so this is the one, we did a bunch of these. I was trying to figure out which one this was. This is the one where I actually pulled too much G and blacked out. So even though I blacked out and I was I was out for a while. Go ahead and let this run while I talk. I blacked out right about here. So I'm blacked out. You can see I'm not really changing my alpha here. And yeah, missile still didn't catch me. So if you're up at Angels 24 and you black out in the turns, I recovered here. You could get away. Not too bad. I thought for sure I was going to die on that one. I was talking to Grimes. I was like, you got me because I blacked out. And then sure enough, when I came to, missile just barely missed. All right, let's take a look at another. Okay. 10 nautical mile start. This is Angels 24 again. And basically going to let this run real time here. Missile came off the rail at 6.5. I immediately split S. And you can see here, that sucker is just hauling. There's nothing I could do. Boom. So yeah, I think for this one, you're gonna have a hard time under 10 miles for sure. I think if you're above 15, you'll probably be able to get away, but under 10 miles, not gonna happen. And again, this is all reaction time. You know, I'm anticipating this missile fire. I know what I'm going to do ahead of time. I know where it's coming from. I know that I'm gonna split S. You know, if you're playing a real mission and you got to figure out, okay, what direction is it coming from? Where am I going to go? How am I going to get there? That's going to cost you half a second to a second, you know? And so you got to remember, I'm showing you best case scenario, and you're not going to have best case scenario. So take it with a grain of salt, all of this. It's more just for discussion than to tell you how this is going to go down. Chances are, if you're taking all of this in and saying, this missile is going to be a non-factor, cool, we'll see what happens day one. Okay, so we're back down to ground level here. Here's a 20 nautical mile shot. Sorry, 20 nautical mile starting distance. The shot occurs at 15 nautical miles. Go ahead and play this one in real time. A few of you ask to see it in real time rather than me fast forwarding, so I'm going to try to do a little mixture here. See here, I already went defensive and tried to notch this thing. It wasn't working, and didn't work. I have a hard time with this missile on the ground. It just tracks. And again, here's that range too. Anything above 10, it really, we had 15 nautical miles, 16. A really hard time at this range. Once we got closer, you cut this in half. It's a lot easier, especially up at altitude. But this sucker just hauls. Let's see what did this one get up to. So this one got up to 2.5. And then you can see here, as it starts its descent, it's gaining a little bit more, and then it just kind of sustains Mach 2.8 and just comes right on in. Slowed down a little bit at the end there. And it sustains pulling these numbers. Look at these. 4G went all the way up to 13G, Mach 2.8, 14G, came back down, and then started to lead again, so it's going up to 6 and still sustaining almost 3 Mach. So I think the problem with this missile is its speed. That's all it is. It's probably not the most maneuverable, especially in close, but man, if you were at this range, you're going to be in trouble, especially if you can't figure out how to notch it like I wasn't having good luck with. And I pride myself on being at least semi good at that. So Let's take a look at another one. Okay, 20 nautical miles. Launch happens at about 15 again. Go ahead and track this one. You can see here we're up to 2.5 Mach. Now it's descending, so it's gaining some extra energy there. Probably still burning a little bit. Now we've stopped burning. No, maybe not. And zoom in close here. Yeah, this one lost it. Let's see what happened here. Going for us, going for us. Yeah, I think going, and then I think it actually lost us here, because you can see here it's not pulling any more G. Still going pretty fast. Yeah, it doesn't pull anymore, so we got rid of it right there. That was a good one. All about the angles. Next. Okay, so a 20-mile start. Another launch about 16 this time. And looks like it lofts up to about Angel 6. 10 nautical miles, starts coming down. And wham. See what happened there. I don't think I got over enough. Probably should have gone a little bit further left. And then I tried to come right, which ultimately made me meet my demise. Okay. All right, 10 miles. We're on the deck. There's a missile, 6.5 miles. Switch to that one. This one doesn't get up to a very high speed. We're still at Mach 2.2 here, but it does see me and it is still accelerating. 2.3 and 2.3 right before it hits. I saw this one out the window. I tried to just pull up in the hopes that I would pull more G than it could, but I did, but it still got me. There wasn't anything I could do. Mash right in. All right, well, I hope that gives you some understanding about this thing. It's fast, it's dangerous at specific ranges. In close, not such a big deal unless you're down low. But if you're higher, seemed to be much easier for me at least to go ahead and notch it, go defensive, get it off me. You know, the other thing to question is, sure, it was notchable, but what happens if he fired a second one? Then I'd be screwed. So something to consider. Hopefully this helps. We'll talk about the C next. The C is the smokeless one. I do believe it is slightly more maneuverable than the A, but I'll have to confirm that. And maybe at the end of this, I can do one more video. We'll see if I have time showing all of the 3 missiles fired at the same target, so you can kind of also judge at different altitudes, different ranges. You can kind of see what exactly is going on as far as how they look and perform side by side. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.